Chris in Boise. In this video we're going to show you how to sanitize and clean a Cornelius Keg prior to putting your homebrew in the keg. The first step in this process of cleaning and sanitizing your Cornelius Keg, there's some tools and items you'll need to get through this process, and one of them is a funnel. I use a funnel to actually transfer my sanitized liquid into the Cornelius Keg, and I use that funnel so that I actually don't spill my water and sanitized water all over the floor. You'll be using a brush to actually clean the inside of the keg. To actually remove the in and out ports on the keg, you actually need a 1/2 inch socket with a 7/8 inch socket to actually remove the in and out ports. You'll need also another wire brush to actually clean the out tube that actually unloads the beer from the keg itself, and this has a little fuzzy end on it that actually uses to scrub the inside of that tube to get any type of residue or leftover trub from the previous beer or substance you actually had in the keg. I have a 5-gallon bucket that has measuring on it that actually gives me my increments of 1/2 gallon increments, and I'll be sanitizing 3 kegs, so I'll be putting about 1 gallon of sanitized liquid in each keg. I've got some food grade lubrifilm, and that's actually to lubricate the O-rings on the Cornelius Keg, and I'll be using iodophor to actually sanitize, used to sanitize the kegs, and that's the iodophor is mixed with the water, and the iodophor has instructions on it, homebrew solution instructions, and those instructions call for 1 teaspoon for 1.5 gallons of water. And to start off the process, I'll be going and measuring out my iodophor. I'm going to be mixing 3 gallons of water, and I'll be putting about 1 gallon of in each keg of sanitized water. So I'll put 2 teaspoons of iodophor, to my 5-gallon bucket. Now I'll begin filling up that bucket to the 3-gallon mark. Once that bucket is filled up to the 3-gallon mark, then I'll go on to the next process. Top portion of the Cornelius Keg, there's a lever that actually you just lift up that lever, and that's going to remove the cap on the Cornelius Keg. And prior to that, you want to release any type of pressure that's in the keg, and by lifting up on the pressure relief, make sure there's no pressure in it. Now you can just lift up on a quick release and remove the top cap. Now I can remove the O-ring, then I'll be lubricating this O-ring prior to putting it all back together. Inside the keg is some leftover trub and sediments, and we're going to be beginning to clean that in our sink here. The sanitized liquid is filled up to 3 gallons now, so I'll just be using the sink itself to actually clean out the keg. I'll just be putting some fresh water in here. You're going to want to take and shake this fresh water around, rinse all this extra trub out. I'll be putting some water down inside here, and I'll be using my long handled scrub brush to actually scrub the inside of the keg out now with water. Now I put some clean water down inside this Cornelius Keg. Got my wire brush down in here, but I'm actually going to remove the out port now on the keg with my 7/8 inch socket and 1/2 inch socket wrench. Just loosen it up with your socket wrench. Now you can just unscrew the cap. And your down tube now will just pull right out. And the down tube is what we're going to be cleaning using the inside of our scrub brush. to just put down into this down tube. Now we can clean this down tube and scrub the inside of this down tube out. Pretty important to scrub this down tube out. There'll be some leftover yeast and shrubs inside this down tube, so you want to clean this thing out really good. Run some water through it. And then we'll clean it with our sanitized liquid. Now I got some fresh water down in here, and I'll begin scrubbing the inside of my keg out.
What the heck are you doing in the kitchen?
Now I finished scrubbing out my kegs with my wire brush. So make sure, look down inside the keg really good to make sure there's no leftover residue inside that keg. If there's any type of residue left over from the previous beverage that was in there, it could contaminate your beer and give it some off flavors. Going to remove the down tubes, clean the inside of the down tubes, and I've actually put them in my sanitary water and start sanitizing the down tubes. And my top caps, they've been removed. I'm going to take the O-rings off, and I'm going to drop the caps into the sanitizing liquid too. I've got the tops of the in ports. I'm going to be dropping those into my sanitizing liquid too now. And now I'm going to begin filling up my kegs with approximately about a gallon of the sanitized solution. I'm going to be putting my O-rings into the sanitized solution, also letting them set in there for 10 minutes, and then I'll begin putting the kegs back together. I'm going to be putting my kegs back together. The down tube, it's got an O-ring. We're going to be using the Hanes Lubrifilm food grade lubricant for the O-ring. There's two O-rings, this O-ring on the down tube, and then the actual O-ring that goes on the top cap. We'll just reinsert this down tube now back inside. Okay. So we're using our 7/8" socket to actually tighten it down. Get that good and tight. You don't want to over tighten it, just snug it down. You're taking our cap, get a little bit of the Hanes Lubrifilm. You're going to lubricate your O-ring. Just reinsert that O-ring on the top cap. Tighten that down. I got my sanitized solution inside there, and then I'll begin shaking that sanitized solution in there. I'm going to let this solution set in there for about a half hour to an hour, and I'll be shaking it about every 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Just make sure the whole inside of that gets the sanitized solution on top of it. When you're done letting that set and sanitize, just remove the top cap, and you'll just dump out your solution, and your keg is sanitized and ready to be used for your next beer.